All right, scholars, here's your do now. You could have used the anchor chart on the back wall with the subtraction rules to remind yourself that subtracting a positive is the same as adding a negative, and subtracting a negative is the same as adding a positive. Some examples of this: subtracting a negative should be the same thing as adding a positive, so a negative 4 is the same as adding a positive 4. Subtracting a positive 7, positive, would be the same as adding a negative 7. So here's some examples of what that actually looks like. Positive 6 minus negative 2 equals 6 plus 2. Whenever you see this double minus, this minus negative, you can just think of that as a positive. So that's 6 plus 2 equals 8. Next, we should have positive 6 minus positive 2. You can change this to be 6 plus negative 2 because adding a negative is the same thing as subtracting a positive, and we know that to be 4. Negative 6 minus negative 2. Remember, anytime we see this double minus negative, that's a plus. So negative 6 plus 2, which is negative 4. Lastly, negative 6 minus positive 2. These are both negatives. Negative 6 plus negative 2 is negative 8. Check your answers and give yourself a check for each one you got right. Now I'm going to do the ones on the bottom if you had time to do these. Negative 15 minus negative 14 is the same thing as negative 15 plus negative 14, which is negative 29. This should be plus 2 plus 8 is 10. This should be plus 11 plus 11 is 22. This is negative 5 plus negative 15. Together makes negative 20. This is negative 5 plus negative 10. Together makes negative 15. This should be plus negative 9 plus 1 is negative 8. This should be plus 13 plus 2 is 15. This should be plus 12 plus 4 is 16. This is negative 8 minus, or plus negative 1, which is negative 9. This should be plus negative 8 plus 12 is 4. This is negative 1 plus negative 7, which is negative 8. And this should be plus 2 plus 11 is 13. Give yourself a check for every one you got right and flip to lesson 13.